Welcome to the ER Advisor Essentials series. In this module, we'll take a closer look at Douglas factor number 9, clarity of notice. This factor plays a critical role in determining whether disciplinary penalties will stand. Let's dive in. So, Douglas factor 9 considers whether the employee was clearly on notice of the rules or expectations they violated. According to the landmark case, Douglas versus Veterans Administration, this includes formal policy, prior warnings, and even common sense. It's not just about what's written, but whether the employee reasonably should have known their conduct was unacceptable. Notice can be written, like statute, regulations, policy manuals, handbooks, or emails. It can be verbal, such as supervisor counseling, especially if followed up in writing. Sometimes, prior discipline or training sessions provide notice. Rosters and details on what was covered in the training can further strengthen the agency's position. And in certain cases, the nature of the behavior itself is so obviously wrong that common sense applies. A key note on why it's important: clarity of notice shows whether an employee acted willfully or simply made a mistake. It's key to showing foreseeability and whether the penalty is appropriate. When supervisors appear to condone behavior or rules are inconsistently enforced, that lack of clarity may lead the Merit Systems Protection Board to mitigate or reverse the penalty. Let's jump into our first scenario. Here, a GS-13 branch chief sent explicit gifs and double entendre jokes in an all-staff birthday email. In this example, the branch chief appealed the agency's disciplinary action to the board. The proposal didn't cite a policy, but the agency argued the behavior was clearly unprofessional. Based on consistent decisions made by the board, we can infer that this was a clear example of common sense providing notice, and they would have more than likely upheld the subsequent penalty for the branch chief's actions. Word to the wise, sometimes happy birthday can suffice. Here, in our second scenario, a wage grade 5 facilities worker was cited for clocking in early and taking long breaks. Management proposed a 10-day suspension, but had never previously clarified expectations or enforced the rule consistently. It was later found on appeal to the board that others engaged in similar conduct without consequence. We can infer, based on past board decisions, that the agency's inconsistent enforcement of the expectation would have led to the board mitigating the action, for instance, down to a letter of reprimand, citing lack of fair notice and disparate treatment. ER professionals should always cite specific policies, handbooks, or training records. Relative to trainings, rosters citing an employee's attendance and slideshows handout documenting what was covered only serve to strengthen the agency's argument. Help management accurately document counselings, especially verbal discussions, as close to the date and time of the actual conversation as possible. Assisting in the reinforcement of expectations regularly, and include dates and examples when proposing discipline. If the time of an incident is critical to the specification and preponderance of misconduct, it can be key in a case. Supervisors must clearly communicate expectations early. Why, you ask? It's a best practice to arm employees with the knowledge and guidance to make better decisions before something goes awry. Everyone comes from different work environments where certain behaviors may have been allowed. Level set expectations and set them up for success. Further, it's a key tenet of supervision. Educate employees on the rules and enforce them in an even-handed manner. In instances where behavior is borderline, address it promptly. Don't wait weeks or months. Document coaching efforts and give advance notice before cracking down on rules that haven't been enforced in the past. Supervisor, you are the proof maker. Get on it early. As Crane v. Air Force reminds us, retroactive enforcement won't stand. Thanks for staying with us to the finish line. In summary, Douglas Factor 9 is about fairness and foresight. When expectations are clear, the agency has a stronger position. But if guidance is vague or inconsistently applied, penalties are vulnerable. So document, cite, and clarify every time. Thanks for watching. As always, please remember that we are not providing legal advice. We are sharing knowledge and a love of the craft of casework. Be sure to subscribe to the Federal ER Pro channel for more real-world scenarios and tactical advice for federal employee relations professionals. Like the video and share.